Introduction. Hello guys, good evening. Happy to see you here. Just one question. How many of you are here from Switzerland? Oh, almost everybody. That's amazing. Another question. How many of you do not understand English? I kind of bribed you already, right? So I think if you would decide English or Russian, okay, so I speak in English, okay. Because if I speak in German, that will be very terrible for you, because ich habe einen schrecklichen russischen Akzent. Und das wollt ihr nicht hören. So I'm basically, I grew up in Soviet Union, went through all the pains of hyperinflation, collapsing country, know how it is when the money is losing its value day by day. And basically, well, I was just very lucky. I got a scholarship in Switzerland, in Germany, so German government selected me as one of the 3 students from Ukraine to enjoy that study in Germany. And somehow I decided, no, I'm not gonna go back. I stay another year, and another year. And then it became 15 years in Munich. And after that, somehow magically I ended up, so I worked for BCG and then for banks, for Barclays Capital in London, and then I worked for UBS here. And at some point, the Bitcoin came around, and it was so exciting, right? This first post-national decentralized money, not issued by a state, issued by, some magical programmer or coder or scientific person that disappeared. So that was amazing for me. And, because I knew how bad it is to live in a country where, money can money in a country can collapse. So for me, it was like, this is going to change the life of so many people. If we back then in Ukraine in the 90s would have something like Bitcoin back then, a lot of people would not lose everything. They would have a means to protect themselves. But we didn't have it. We were not even able to buy $1. And I think for a lot of countries, for most countries outside of our rich world, this is a big, big problem which cryptocurrencies are solving. So of course I couldn't stay away from that big revolution, and I had to join that. So I left my banking job at UBS, happily doing so, and basically started to work for Xapo. And Xapo back then was just another startup from Silicon Valley. And it was actually here in this place. I was 3 years ago in 2015, standing here, talking about Bitcoin and why this is great and why we are coming to Switzerland. So, but to cut this long story short, I was given the mission to find a way to, relocate this Xapo, this Silicon Valley startup, here to Switzerland. And of course, it was about the regulation, because we were a legal company everywhere. No banks, nobody wanted to work with us, right? And getting a legal status here, that would kind of save that company. And then the next 1.5 years I spent in different, very interesting conversations on all different levels, from FINMA to political levels and so on. So, but we got it done. We got the first, not the license, but basically approval of regulator to operate out of Switzerland as a Bitcoin company. We were the first US Silicon Valley company that came here and get that permission, right? And actually for the world of Bitcoin, that was a big deal. That was the first case, right? And that was a signaling case saying Switzerland is open to this innovation. So, and then a little bit later, as my job was done and Xapo was established here and big success and all is great, I came on, and with my co-founders, we created Smart Valor. And we are basically, yes, we are a Swiss company. I'm very proud to say that. And it actually even got me here. I don't know how many of you saw it. Is there anybody in the room who wants to become an entrepreneur and is not yet? Yes. So I have to tell you, there was never in the history, probably, of the humanity. A better place and a better time to do so. Because now, with this blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, all the tech that is coming on us, right? There are so many opportunities to build great new tech stuff and improve life of people. And also now we have the tools to become entrepreneurs. You have all of it almost for free. You have Slack, you have all the tools that you need to basically build a company within a week, right? That was not possible before. Like 10 years ago, you would need a lot of capital and a lot of people to even get started, right? So that's an amazing journey. I'm very happy I took all the courage and did that. And I think that, by the way, Bitcoin, because I invested in Bitcoin back in 2013, it was $70, and everybody told me I'm late because it was like $10 before, right? But it wasn't, and that was the initial capital that we needed to start this company. So what do? We built a platform, decentralized marketplace for tokenized alternative investments. And if that sounds a little bit complicated, yes, it is. And in simple terms, we are kind of like online investment platform for digital assets. Amazon, where you buy cryptocurrencies, tokens, but also tokenized assets. So we are about 26 people today, have been live for 1 year, and is launching operations in several months. So what is special about us? Well, special is, and you will laugh about it, that we're going to be a fully legal and compliant organization. You would say, like, this is stupid, right? Of course everybody is. No, not in our space. In cryptocurrency space, 90% of organizations have no legal status. And they do cryptocurrency trading and all of this stuff, and they are not authorized entities. So welcome to the world of cryptocurrencies, right? So something even so simple and obvious, well, it can be a competitive advantage. What else? Well, we are luckily, part of Thomson Reuters incubator. Thomson Reuters is one of the largest financial institutions, also exploring blockchain space and investing. So they have incubator here in Bar, actually. This is where our offices are. And that's really, really amazing to be on board of this incubator. One very important notice to all of you: we don't only work, we also do some fun stuff. This one is really exhaustive, so that was 10 hours biking tour, like this. So but we survived, and we're looking for people. So we're looking for bankers, marketers, programmers. There are like about 15 job posts on our website. Please have a look. Okay, so now I get to the real presentation. I believe this technology has arrived to fundamentally change how society works. I believe that it came to shift the power, the balance of power between people and state. The same way as internet gave access to information from a few to many, let us challenge oppressive governments and challenge the status quo. In the same way, blockchain has arrived to change access to assets and wealth. Why? Because blockchain is actually internet of value. Blockchain enables anybody to transfer value instantly, globally, in direct peer-to-peer network. And this is a big deal, because today, the way our financial system works, it's full of barriers and walls of all the different sorts, right? There is local regulations, there are capital controls, your government, your banks, they tell you in what you're allowed to invest and in what you're not. But I think this is not right. I think that having money and being able to decide how you spend your money and how you invest your money, it is the same human right as freedom of speech. And for us, it's obvious, but for the most people, it's not. In the most countries, people have no reason to trust their governments or even hold to their own money, their national currencies. Their wealth is on them or in their houses. And even if you think about the country of free, the great United States, this country will tell you that you're not allowed to invest in crypto. The bank will shut down your account if they figure out you're exposed to Bitcoin. That much democracy. And again, from my experience and what I saw in my life, even if you're an entrepreneur and you're doing everything right, you just need to be a little bit successful and appealing to masses, and people start to like you, and your government will stop to like you. All your wealth is gone. And all your wealth can disappear from today to tomorrow because some other bigger country decides to occupy a part of your country. And there is a hyperinflation again. So the safety, it's actually today the privilege of rich people. Because even this safety that this country provided to so many people, wealth management, offshore banking, today it's the privilege of the rich. And I don't think this is right. Needless to say, even to hold to national cryptocurrencies is quite a waste. Because the most stable the most stable national currencies, US dollar, lost almost all of its value within 100 years. If I would show you the chart how this was in relation to Swiss franc, that looks so much better. So actually, US dollar, within the same time frame, lost 77% of value in relation to Swiss franc. So it's really great currency, and it's a big asset what we have. Well, so now the question is how decentralized internet of value can change the status quo. And the answer for me personally, I've been thinking and writing about this for so many years, can be summarized under 3 points. So basically it's about disintermediation, it's about global access through cryptocurrencies outside of the banking system, access to platforms, access to investments, and it's about more accessible investments through tokenization. So now I need to take a step back and ask you guys, how many of you truly understand what tokenization is about? So you probably know those I don't know, like transponders where you have the 6 digits and then you enter in VPN the code. So that was the first application of tokenization. So the token is something that is sent to you. But now we are talking about the other tokenization. Tokenization, basically, it's representation of an asset by unique identification characters, allowing the ownership rights to be transferred and recorded on digital medium. In other words, tokenization is when a token, this cryptographic object that is issued on a blockchain and is governed by smart contracts, this token represents, for example, physical asset. So in a certain sense, tokenization can be compared to securitization. So securitization, it's pooling of illiquid assets and representation through a share or a note or a contract, right? So this can be the same. You can put a lot of assets in one basket and say that who holds one token of that basket owns the share in this basket. And one of the first applications of tokenization is actually ICO. ICO done in a way, for example, tokenized shares, right? This is tokenization. The token represents kind of like equity stake, right? If it's asset token. Well, a lot of ICOs are utility tokens and so on, but it can be also this way. Or venture capital company. Blockchain Capital issued a token that represents participation in their venture capital fund. Right? Very new concept. And why this is great? Well, because today the transfer of ownership is a very, cumbersome, archaic process. And I don't even talk about, transfer of ownership of physical goods, right, like real estate or something that is difficult to move. Look at digital, electronic representation of ownership. For example, share, Apple share. If you and me, we were to exchange one share in the Apple company, it would take all of those people to be involved, all of those organizations. Cost us a lot of money and 3 days. We are doing great, right? So on the blockchain, it's just like that. It is a peer-to-peer global network which enables you to transfer any kind of value. If I send you Bitcoin, you have it the next couple of minutes. And the same way we transfer Bitcoin today, we will be transferring any kind of asset. Houses, pictures, cars. Every kind of ownership will be on the blockchain. It's just a couple of years ahead of us. And the proof that this is happening, you can see when you look at the total market cap of crypto assets, of digital assets. Just several years ago, as I was part of the Bitcoin company, about 2/3, sometimes even 90% of market cap was represented by Bitcoin. But today the picture is different. So here you see this is the total crypto capital market composition, right? Even last year, you see Bitcoin was 2/3. And this is changing. All the other tokens, partially also tokenized assets, they are growing. So today it's the opposite. Today about 2/3 are other coins and 1/3 is Bitcoin. Of course, Ethereum plays a great role, but overall trend to tokenization of assets, starting with ICO, but going now into different areas, is on the go. And this is actually also a great business opportunity, and the sizes are just, the potential is difficult to even grasp. Because if you look at, crypto market cap, but even like alternative investment space, we are talking about billion. Who could guess what's on the other side? Somebody awake? So on the other side are traditional financial assets. Equity, commodities, real estate. So here we are talking about trillions. This is so much bigger. This is so massive. And now, imagine even if a fraction of those assets will be tokenized and will go from right to left. What will happen to the crypto market cap, right? If with the time, ICO is going to morph into some kind of new IPO form, and all the new shares and everything will be issued on the blockchain as a token, right? That will fundamentally change Wall Street. Because for that thing, you don't need all of those entities. Central registry, custodian bank, clearing house. We're gonna be laughing about it in several years, right? We'll be like, oh, this is stupid. Why did we need all these people? Yes, but by the way, also amazing thing is that that ICOs are really on the rise. I'm a big fan of this development because I think this is one part of democratization of access to wealth. Today, I know a lot of examples, great companies from Silicon Valley. They're not anymore going to VC companies and raising funds there. No, they're doing their ICO. And you know, guys, what the advantage is? That, for example, my comrades in Ukraine and in Russia, or Chinese guys, that never had access to any kind of this opportunity. They never had a chance to invest alongside the big celebrity Silicon Valley investors. Now they do. They just buy a token. And this is democratization of access to wealth. And of course, we will go through all the bumps, and there will be all the misery and money stolen and all the bad things that will happen. But this is just development. This is a cycle of, you know, adoption of any technology, right? So how are we doing with time? Right.
Well, so far.
Good.
5 minutes.
So basically, and with this, I'm coming to the closure. On our platform, we are specialized on alternative investments. And these alternative investments, you can select them, like, you can put them in 2 categories. So first one is native digital assets. Those are cryptocurrencies. Those are digital assets that do not exist in other kind of form, right? They are just on the blockchain, right? So this is Bitcoin, this is Ethereum, but also infrastructure projects. So new blockchains, new protocols that are put in place to create, you know, a basic layer for decentralized storage, decentralized computing, decentralized energy. There are so many great applications. It's amazing. It's really interesting space. And the other part of the assets, those are real physical assets in a tokenized form. So it's tokenized real estate, tokenized funds, tokenized currencies, tokenized diamonds. It can be anything, right? It's just with our platform, we are super specialized on the space of alternative investments. Because I foresee a big, you know, bloodbath in this public equity space. So everybody who is going just for shares, putting shares of the companies on the blockchain, I think, like, honestly, good luck, because you're competing with all the NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange and SIX and all those people. But the point is, like, you know, it doesn't bring anything. Well, it just brings a little bit more efficient settlement, right? But it doesn't free us from all these layers of intermediaries. This is the whole point of blockchain, right? That we don't need those folks anymore. All the fees that they charge, this is not needed. Even us, a platform, in the form of centralized exchange, we're going to exist very short time, because we are working on decentralized solution. Decentralized exchange means where you actually don't need an exchange. You can exchange asset cross-platform without even, you know, needing a permission from that exchange or from the other. So the rollout, of course, is going to be in several stages. We are now launching this year with a basic exchange enabling access to digital assets, cryptocurrencies, utility tokens. We received a financial intermediary license here in Switzerland, a very great achievement for us. We partnered with Ledger. Ledger is one of the most known and renowned providers of hardware security for crypto assets. And we are one of the first 6 partners to build up the solution called Ledger Vault. So this is a cold storage for assets that are, you know, invested on our platform. And the second stage of the rollout is going to be next year, because we are currently in the application process for banking license in Liechtenstein. Well, of course, the funding, out of question. If we're building the platform for tokens, of course, this is the way we finance ourselves. We issue Valor token, which is utility and payment token, giving you an exclusive access right to the platform. And we did the first pre-sale last year. We did the second round this year. And there's going to be a public ICO later this year. So anybody who's interested, you can already pre-register, whitelist. It's called whitelisting for upcoming ICO. Well, of course, we have Valor network, Telegram channel. There are all the updates there. I'm personally very much involved in this one. And what else? I guess this is it. That's not mine. But maybe last word from my side. Since I've been very deeply involved in this blockchain community for a while, Bitcoin, back then it was just Bitcoin. And I had the, really very great fortune to meet amazing people in Bitcoin space. And those relationships grew and grew. And today I'm producer of the largest Bitcoin conference, blockchain conference in Switzerland. It's called Crypto Summit. So you can basically Google cryptosummit.ch. We hosted the last one in March, 1,400 people. And I got amazing speakers from US, from everywhere, like really celebrities of crypto. And this time it's coming up again, 28th, 29th of October. So now is the early bird ticket, so check it out. And I think with this, I'm done. Thank you very much for your attention.